Well, in this episode, we reach the absolute pinnacle of football management. It's the competition everybody dreams about. We've got the semi-finals of the Nations League. Maybe the final as well, if we get there. Hello and welcome to part 5 of It's Coming Home, not that one. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have, at the very least, the Nations League semi-final against Croatia, and then highlights, the goals from these two friendlies coming afterwards against Argentina and Colombia. If we get to the final, we'll have the final, and then we'll just pretend those friendlies never happened, because I don't want this to be the longest episode in the history of the world, and I'm not going to do 2 days of back-to-back England episodes when everyone's waiting for a transfer window. That would make me a monster. So we're struggling a little bit. Full disclosure, we're doing the 4-3-3 again because it's all we can do. Looking at the squad, and I know there are a couple of players who can play in slightly different positions in the national pool who haven't been called up into the squad, but I've kind of aimed the squad around doing this. Goff is injured again. He's in the squad, but he's not going to be fit to play, so he can't play. Edmonds obviously was great and could play in behind a front two, but then there's no one to play on the left hand side because he's the only one who can do that. Francis is old and past it. I know there was let's have a look, where's the team report? There was a young attacking midfielder who, we don't even get to see him anymore. So if we have a look on there, Morgan Potts, he's an option, but he's not even playing regularly for Liverpool. I guess he's played a little bit more regularly this year. I just don't feel like bringing him into the squad is the solution. Playing him when we've got all this attacking talent seems a little bit silly. So at the moment, the plan is very much play as many of these strikers as we can and stop doing it if it stops working. We may well get found out today. Who knows? But we're going with 3 strikers today, and fingers crossed we can go and win the Nations League. So we're going with Powell in goal, a back four of Page, Williams, Ashworth and Hubbard, Porter, Nixon, Smith in midfield, North, Stewart, Thompson and Williamson up front. Is that the right Thompson? No, he's the one who plays for Wolves. See, it's weird because star rating wise, I think he's better than the other one. Chris Thompson is the one at Tottenham. Yeah, the other one's got more potential and is younger. But this guy got 25 goals in the Premier League last year. We've got too many good strikers because we've also got Nick Wilson, who is a bit of a star at Man United. Not a prolific goal scorer, as you can see. I assume he must play out wide for them. He could play anywhere in behind the front line. We're going to go with this for now. If it doesn't work, then I'll look like a silly goose. But we're playing against Croatia in a semi-final. I don't see how this can possibly go wrong. Nice easy route through to the final, and then we'll see who we've got when we get there. Please don't let this backfire. We've only ever used the 4-3-3 against teams we're far, far stronger than. This could be a disaster. We deserve to be in the final. There's a team talk to motivate England. Did we look when we started this series? Have England won anything in this universe? We're obviously nearly 20 years in the future. I'm not sure if England have won anything or if they're now singing about 70 years of hurt or whatever it would be. North is in and hits the post. It was a lovely cross from Williamson. North can't quite get his shot on target, but it was the first real opportunity of the game, and it was an impressive effort. So fingers crossed, more of that. We've had 70% of the possession in the first 25 minutes, but we've not, apart from that one opportunity, we've not done anything else highlight worthy with it. We've now got Porter picking the ball up in midfield, back to Page. Page plays it forward for North to chase onto on this left-hand side, crosses towards Williamson, falls to Hubbard. Hubbard's got options inside him, plays it to Nix, Nix to Smith, back to Nix again. Nix plays it out to Page. There are 3 strikers lined up in the middle, and it ends up on the one in the middle of the 3 of them, Stewart Thompson, who got the nod over his free-scoring namesake. Because he's younger and has more potential, and he's rewarded me with a goal. It's Croatia 0, England 1 after 30 minutes. We're 1-0 up against Croatia in a semi-final. I don't see how this can go wrong. Let's skip the rest of the celebration. it's fine. We're as good as in the final at this point. Right, Croatia are on the attack. I don't know if this is an actual highlight or just the kickoff highlight. It looks like it's an actual highlight. Williams intercepts, finds Smith. Smith forward to Thompson, who's come very, very deep, but releases Williamson. North is in the middle. Cross comes into North. I think we've won a penalty. We have won a penalty. It's going to be Williamson to take. If he scores this, I think this is goal 94 in an England shirt for Williamson. If he can tuck it away, and he does not. It's not a very good penalty. For a man who's scored as many England goals as he's scored, you would expect him to tuck that away. That's a bit of a worry. Although, to be fair to him, he's not used to playing on the right-hand side of a 3. North trying to find Williamson, can't get there. Smith's been involved in everything today, and here's North again, who's been fouled again, and Williamson is going to take the penalty again. If he misses this one, he'll never play for England again. I think that's reasonable. Williamson scores this time, and I think, as I said before, that is number 94 in an England shirt, and that's your sign of a real top level striker, a real confident footballer. Like 3 minutes after missing a penalty in such an important match, he's quite happy to step up and take another one, and didn't miss that time. So it's Croatia 0, England 2. The front 3 is looking useful. And clearly missing a penalty is worth more negative points than scoring a penalty is worth positive points. Because Williamson somehow showing on a 6.4, despite creating a couple of really good chances and scoring a penalty. I don't know what I clicked there, but whatever I did, I delighted them. I kind of just I was on autopilot. Am I some kind of managerial genius who inherently knows what to do, but sometimes I overthink it because I'm talking? Let me know down in the comments what on earth I just clicked, because I motivated everybody, and I don't know if I've ever done that before. Right, Powell with the goal kick to Ashraf. This is a weird place to start a highlight from. I assume we're going to just score a wonder goal. Smith over the top to North, who's been very involved, and forces the save out of the Croatia keeper, and we've got a corner, and I don't know who that is taking it. It's Williamson to take the corner. Getting your best striker to take the corners in a major competition, it's just good England management. Nicks across to Williams, and the highlight just ends. Neither of the strikers either side of Thompson are having a good game according to those ratings. I think we're watching a different game. Both Williamson and North have been very involved and doing very well. Williamson with the shot from the edge of the area, just over. Chris Thompson is getting ready to come on there, and I think Edmonds as well possibly will do a double substitution, take off the 2 old men. If Williamson comes off, of course we've got Nick Wilson as well. Let's get him on. Let's have a look at Nick Wilson, get North off for Thompson. Poor old Edmonds. So Wilson is... Can Thompson play there? So we've got Thompson's either side of Wilson, who's going to play in the middle despite not being the goal scorer, but apparently he's an advanced forward. I don't understand, but I'm going to praise the players for their excellent performance so far. Porter is next in line to come off. I don't really know who our backup midfielders are. Shaw or Howard. Who is Alistair Shaw? Let's have a look at him. Alistair Shaw is making his debut. That's why I don't remember him. 3-star current ability central midfielder. Not quite as good as Alves when we put him in home terms. Been playing for Fulham. We know Fulham have been doing quite well in the home series as well, so I have no issues with bringing him on in such a big match. 10 minutes to go. I would like to see goals from our other 2 strikers who've just come on, because as much as we've dominated this game, I'm not sure how much of it is to do with my own tactical genius and how much of it is to do with the fact that perhaps Croatia just aren't very good, because we've managed to get quite poor ratings out of 2 very good strikers. And there is Nick Wilson, the one that got away. We tried to sign him for home so many years ago, but now he's playing for me for England, and I'm going to turn him into a goal scorer. No one else can get him to score goals at club or international level, but Kev's going to make him a star. And Wilson is in, just with a nice little tap in, squared from Thompson. It's 3-0 with 7 minutes to go, and we are in the final of this competition, boys and girls, which is just absolutely delightful. I don't even know where these games are being played. That's Portugal, isn't it? Lisbon, Portugal. That's Portugal. I'm sure that's Portugal. So wasn't that where they just did the Nations League in real life? Does this competition just always end in Portugal? We're in the final anyway, which is excellent news. I don't know who we're playing. I think the options were Germany or Portugal. So that'll be handy if we end up having to play an away game in the final. But let's see who we're going to be playing. I don't want to give you any spoilers for the transfer special, so I'm just going to go straight here. So it's Portugal or Germany, and they've not played their game yet. Well, we'll find out in a second, and when we're playing the final as well. That's 4 internationals this summer. I could just do the longest episode ever. Well, it is Portugal we're playing on the final. On further inspection, it seems it wasn't in Portugal in real life anyway. It was in Spain, assuming that's correct. So it went Spain, Spain, Italy, Belgium, France, France, Spain, Spain, England. The final at Pride Park, which is a weird choice. And now we are going to play Portugal in Portugal. And at the very least, we match our best ever finish, which was a second place to Germany in 2023. Let's go. It's coming home, everybody. Not that one. Just the one change for the final then. Wilson comes in up front for North, who drops down to the bench. He came off the bench, scored. That means he deserves to start. So we've now got 2 Thompsons, a Wilson and a Williamson up front, plus a Williams at the back. This isn't going to get confusing, is it? Let's just get into the game. Fitness, again, is potentially going to be an issue, as it always seems to be with England. When we play 2 games close together, we can't rest the players in between, and they're all tired. But hopefully, Portugal are going to be in exactly the same situation, because they played their previous game like 3 hours later than we played ours. So hopefully, they'll be even more tired than we are. Have we got anyone we recognise in the Portuguese team? I don't think we've had any Portuguese players. They've got a couple of Lopez's to go with our Thompsons. And why are all the names the same? This is silly. Right, team talk. Oh, I'm thinking about it already. I expect nothing but a win. No, because Portugal are much better than Croatia, obviously. Well, I should have left it to instinct. Let's hope we continue to play as well as we have. To be fair, in every game we've played with this 4-3-3, the only problem is, just like England in real life, we've played against a lot of fairly poor opposition and now think we've got a tactic that works. This is our first game against an actual decent side. Let's see if it still works. And Kevin Williamson has scored with 5 minutes on the clock. It's Portugal 0, England 1. And the best thing about this move, which we'll see from the replay, is not just that he scored it, but look at the options he had alongside him. We are 3-on-3 here. And if he hadn't have scored, he had 2 players lined up to tuck away either a rebound off the keeper, or if he'd have decided to square it. There was not a chance of that ending up anywhere other than the back of the net. That was glorious. More of that, please. Portugal now have a corner. Still only 15 minutes into the game. We've got absolutely no one there marking, and they've equalised. And that was poor defending. We've just that was a set piece straight off the training ground. They've just cut that corner back. There's no one awake to it. Who is that stood just there? Wilson. Wilson is stood there on the edge of the area to stop stuff like that happening and just isn't aware that it's happening. Now we've got a corner. Williamson takes. We do a more traditional corner, and it's Williamson to Williams. And it's 2-1 to England again. We've turned international football into Kev ball, where it's just basically basketball with your feet, end-to-end stuff, lots of goals. 18 minutes in, Portugal 1, England 2. We're closing in. We're this close to our first piece of silverware. Certainly my first piece of silverware of international football. I don't know if this matters. I don't know if people care. I don't even really know how this competition is viewed in real life. I certainly don't have any idea how people feel about it 20 years in the future. I mean, it's an established competition at this point that runs every 2 years. It's had lots of winners, all of them been big recognised nations. So it's not like it's turned into the Johnson's Paint Trophy of international football. Right, don't get complacent. I was sat there trying to decide what countries I could compare to, like Torquay, and not offend whole nations of people, and thought better of it in the end. But you know what I mean. You know who you are. If you're a nation that shouldn't be winning international tournaments, you haven't been winning this. This has been the big guys winning it, which is why England haven't won it yet. But we're in with a chance today, although Portugal have come out at the start of the second half and immediately equalised. So I asked our team not to get complacent. It seems that they got complacent, and this Portugal team do look quite useful going forward. Questions of offside? I mean, that guy was offside throughout the whole move, but I guess he wasn't interfering with play. But still, I would suggest our defenders were being distracted by his presence and having to watch him the whole time. Another corner for Portugal. This time we do manage to deal with it, but the attack continues. We need to get a foot in and get a breakaway on here. Nix does that. Porter does the other half of it, and now we've got our 3 men who all stayed forward. Williamson this time should square it. In fact, he gets fouled. It's the 3rd penalty of the episode for Kevin Williamson. Can he get goal number 95 for England to put us 3-2 up in a major final? Of course he can. Portugal 2, England 3, and once again we were overloaded going forward there. We felt it a little bit defensively by not having any of the 3 of them back, but Williamson had options there. He could square the ball to an unmarked Thompson or get himself fouled, thus getting a goal for himself because he knows he's the penalty taker. Look at this. Cometh the hour, cometh the man. World-class striker, greatest striker in the history of English football, is just stepping up in a final and saying, yeah, you know what, I'm going to score some goals and win this trophy for us. Right, we are going to take off Thompson and replace him with the other Thompson. And you know what, we're going to bring on North for Wilson as well. We've got so much strength in depth in our front line. Poor old Edmonds, who was the star of the first couple of episodes of this series, just can't get in the team now. Despite the fact he is quite capable of playing up front, he's just only our 6th best striker. Now Portugal have a penalty with 15 minutes to go. Can Powell become a hero? No. It's 3-3. This is end-to-end stuff, isn't it? We've just got to hope we can continue outscoring them or start outscoring them, because we're not outscoring them currently. That's why we're drawing. I understand football. Right, we've got a free kick. It's Williamson for his hat-trick, and it's saved by the keeper. North tries to make a little bit of anything from the rebound. Doesn't get anywhere, and now I am looking at my final change. Porter is the man who's going to come off, and as much as I want to bring Edmonds on and really go for it, I'm just going to bring Shaw on again like we did in the last game. Proper box-to-box midfielder on for a proper box-to-box midfielder. It's the one weakness of this setup. We've only really got 2 good midfielders. We've got to find that third option. It might end up being Edmonds or Goth as wide players, and perhaps we take one of the front 3 and stick them wide, and we will eventually end up with a 4-4-2, 4-2-3, no, 4-4-2 or 4-2-4 type thing. Bathroom still being done next year, as you can hear. But we can't pause 3 minutes from the end of a major final. What we can do is try and show some passion. I mean, it's the Vuvuzelas they're in. Do they do them in Portugal? Portugal now with the corner. We will stop after this highlight if that continues and just wait for it to stop. It's not usually constant, but Portugal are taking a corner, and if we concede this, it's going to be disgusting. Shaw trying to chase onto that and create a counter-attack, but we're under pressure here, and we'll just give it a minute. Right, 5 minutes to go. We haven't got any more passion left to give. I think, do we go to extra time? Does it go straight to penalties? I don't know how this works. I mean, it's going to be a good indication of whether it's a real competition or not, because if that had gone straight to penalties, immediately we'll stop caring. It's time for everyone to dig in. Can we make a 4th change now? I don't know what the rules of this tournament are. Hubbard, can he come off? Have we got a right back on the bench? No. We have got, what's his face? No, don't make that change. We can bring Hawks on if it lets us. We can. Can we make a 5th? Can we get Edmonds on? No, so just the 4. So at least we're getting a little bit more energy into those wide areas again. We have a fullback coming on. And it's a fullback we've used quite a lot. Hawks has played just as many games as Page as part of this England setup. I don't really know which one is our best player. We need to keep an eye on Nix in the middle there, who's going to be shattered. But we have a corner. It's Williamson with the corner. There's no one there on the end of it, but Tom Smith is just come from nowhere and score an absolute worldie. He doesn't need to be on the end of it. Just give me a ball bobbling somewhere in there, half boss. I'm sticking it in the top corner without even looking. The crowd's going wild, celebrating. And 98 minutes on the clock. Portugal 3, England 4, and now it's all about whether or not we can hold on and secure our first trophy in charge of the England team. I still haven't checked if England have won anything else over the course of this save. They might well have done. Right, I've just double checked. England still haven't won anything since 1966. It's now 2037. There's going to be some nervous people around at the moment thinking we might actually be able to celebrate winning something as England. I've only been in this job for a year. I'm the greatest manager in history. Williamson with the corner. Ashworth collects. Smith's there again. Can he just stick it in again? Of course he can. Absolutely, of course he can. Never in doubt. He's got the most English name of all of them. I'm just Tom Smith. And I score screamers in finals. How you doing? Look at the state of this. Tom Smith wanted a trophy. He wanted a medal as an England player. And he's got one now because it's 5-3 to England with 3 minutes of extra time remaining. And surely at this point, Portugal have got nothing left. We're dropping a little praise bomb for our players to hopefully just psych them up into the last couple of minutes of this game. It would be lovely for Williamson to get a hat-trick. Or Smith, to be fair. Either of them would be great. Hawks plays it into North. Williamson is there. And it's just turned round the post by the Portugal keeper. It's another corner though, and Smith is going to be lurking. Williams, our centre-back, taking this corner. It ends up falling to Nick. Smith is next to him. In fact, that was Shaw, not Smith. There's Williams. Don't know why he's there. Have they got Williams and Williamson confused like I do sometimes? I've got the wrong lad taking the corner. Right, I think this is the full-time whistle highlight. Smith, just shoot from there. I think he has. He's played the ball over the top for Thompson. Can Thompson make it 6? It's straight into... He tried to be really fancy and chip the keeper with the last kick of the game. As it is, he's basically kicked the ball up into their keeper's hands with the last kick of the game. In fact, it's not the last kick of the game. Inexplicably, it continues. Smith with the ball over the top of the game. Williamson's in for his hat-trick, and it's that far wide. And that must be it now. And I think the 4-3-3 works, boys and girls, because we've had 27 shots in this game. For as long as we've got 5 world-class strikers, I think the policy as England manager is get as many of them on the pitch as possible. We've just won our first trophy in, 71 years? Sir Kevin Chapman now, isn't it? Isn't that what happens when England wins something? That was really special, lads. Well done. Now, let's go and do it in the World Cup next summer. That was ridiculous. Right, I'll let you know in the first England game of next season, so the Austria-Latvia one, how we get on against Argentina and Colombia. It obviously doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. They're just friendlies. We're going to try a few things out. But I know you're all desperate to get back to home for tomorrow because you want the transfer special. So a transfer special with home tomorrow you shall have, and I will see you there. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos, and thank you very much for watching.